Well, hey crafty friends, it's Heidi Scott with DIY Dreaming, and oh my goodness, I'm so excited about these stuffed canvas tulips that I'm going to show you how to make today. Super easy. You can make them with absolutely any kind of fabric that you like. You can make your own fabric. I'll show you how to do that. And you can make them whatever size you want. I'm going to teach you basically how to make this one. Let me show you up close. So I did a couple, whoops, I'm pulling my crinkle paper out. I did a couple different styles. This one is with really heavy weight, thick, cream colored canvas. And then these here are white canvas. And I used, let me move that out of my way, get my crinkles out of the way. And you could make them short so they could be like a boutonniere, or put on a bracelet, or put on a package. I just made mine on long dowels. Okay, but you can make any size you want, and let's start with my project and I'll show you exactly step by step how I did it. Okay, so this is the canvas that I used the most. Some of the other two, I used this cream, really super heavy duty canvas, and I noticed that if the canvas is too thick, it's hard to turn it right side out. But anyways, this is just white canvas from Hobby Lobby. And I used my current favorite stencil. This is called Lighthouse of Truth. It's a 2-piece stencil set. I did not use this beautiful lighthouse. I used this background, which, oh my goodness, I'm totally loving this as an all over pattern. And it's the words to Oceans by Hillsong United. And it's like in this old-fashioned script. I absolutely just love it. So I took my canvas, and I did this a few hours ago so it would be dry. And I put my stencil on the canvas. And then I made like 5 different colors. I used glittering gold ink. I used, what do they call this? Sparkling silver ink. I used glittering rose gold ink. I used glittering copper ink. And I used this glittering black ink. Okay? So I was going for metallics. And then on these, I just used white ink, okay? But it is ink, okay? And I, just regular stenciling, I do this all the time. I just pushed it through the holes in my stencil, and da-da, this is what I got. It's really pretty in this glittering black. But again, you could use a printed fabric. I did this 3 years ago, I think it was, with some pink and white polka dot fabric. You could do this with burlap. There's so many different things that you could do. So this is basically what it looks like. It's fully dry and it's been heat set. Okay, so the pieces that we're going to use to make these tulips, the size I did was 4 inches up and down and 8 inches wide. So let's get that, and I'm going to cut off, I'm going to tear off, actually, the top of this. We'll use this little piece for something else. Okay, so let me just measure. 4 inches long. All right, and then you're going to have strings for days, and then 8 inches. And we'll come back to that fabric because I'll show you how to make some leaves. All right, so all of these pieces that I have ready to go are 4 inches up and down and 8 inches long. There's in silver and here's in gold. All right, let's start with the black one. First thing you're gonna do, and we're gonna be working from, we're gonna start with this inside out. So the front is gonna be on itself. I'm gonna just glue this into a little tube. See? All right, and then I do need to determine what is up because I don't want to make this upside down. And you guys, this is so simple. After I did a couple of them, I just whipped them out like crazy. There's a teeny bit of sewing, but not anything complicated. Okay, so I just have some cream colored thread and a sewing needle. And I'm going to do a gathering stitch on the bottom, all the way around. I'll show you in just a second. This is how we're going to gather it up at the bottom. It does not have to be perfect at all. Okay, I'm almost there, so stay with me. This is one of the 2 steps that involves just a little bit of sewing. Okay. Get all the way around. And I'm just going to go right through where I did my little glue. Okay, so I have a gathering stitch that goes all the way around it. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to just be cinching it up. Like this. Can you see that? That's the bottom. But before we go any further with that, we need to create our dowel. And when I first started fiddling around with this idea, I had these just on a wood dowel that you can get from any craft store. And I thought they looked kind of funny. So then I decided that I would like them better if they had some canvas wrapped around them, and I really do like them much better. So let me show you how to do that. About this much of it right here is going to be hidden inside of the tulip. So you can leave that blank. You don't need to cover that part. All right, so all I'm going to do is wrap and twist that all the way around. And I think the messier the better, so don't worry about it, you know, being perfect. Can you see what I'm doing? Some more glue. Okay, hang on, I gotta grab some glue sticks. If you decide to do this project, I would really love to see pictures of what you make. I had some yellow canvas deck that I pulled out, and I was thinking about doing this same stencil in white, and then I decided to just keep them all super neutral. But you could use red canvas, you could use ticking fabric, you could use all kinds of different things. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be sticking this into my this will be my tulip. Wait, I'm going the wrong way. Okay, so this is the part that's gonna be hidden. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cinch this up really good and tight and kind of spread my little gathers. And I'm just going to wrap my thread really tight and make a knot. Tell me if you know how to do this kind of sewing and how you learned it. I learned from my mom and both of my grandmas how to do sewing. How to use a sewing machine. I learned all that as a child, and I wouldn't say I'm a great sewer, but I'm decent. Okay, and then the next thing you want to do is maybe just hit this with a teeny bit of glue so that it will be less inclined to slip off. So the side is glued, the bottom has a gathering stitch to cinch it up, and this is going to be our stuffed tulip. All right, so next thing I need to do, just gonna cut these strings off, is grab some stuffing. I'm using this. This is my favorite polyfill. It's Crafter's Choice Polyfill. Dry polyester packing fiber fill. I get mine at Walmart, and what I like about this is that it's pretty stiff. And it says it's ideal for doll making, and it's 20 ounces, which the 20 ounces part, that must mean the weight of it. Oh, Helga says she learned how to sew in her school home ed class. Well, I learned some of that there too, but when I grew up, my mom sewed most of our clothes. And when I was a little girl, one of my grandmothers taught me how to make some Barbie clothes, baby clothes and stuff like that, and so I just always loved it. Okay, so I've just filled this. I need a little bit more. In fact, just a couple of days ago, I mended a dress for my daughter in lab that had just had a spot where the seam was splitting on the side, and yeah, easy. Okay. So then the next thing we're going to do, I need to get some more thread on my needle. It's here somewhere. Is I'm going to show you how to sew the top together. And mine, this is what they look like. Can you see there's like 4 little points? So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, let's see if I can thread this while I'm live. Sometimes a little spit is all you need, right? This sewing needle has a very small eye. This part isn't going to require a lot of thread, so I might have been able to do it with what was left on there. Helga says she sewed some of her clothes for school and she enjoyed it so much. My mom and I actually sewed my prom dress and it turned out beautiful. And I have still some of the lace from that dress that I have in my crafting drawer. Okay, so I'm going to start out on the inside so I can hide the tail. And I'm going to start out right by the seam. And I'm just going to poke my needle through that. And then I'll bring it back inside and across to the other side. So can you see what I'm doing? And that will cinch that up. So let me do that a couple times. I was wondering if I was going to like this glittering black ink on this white canvas, and I really do. Okay, so can you see what I have done? I have just sewn one side to the other side tight. Now I'm going to use the same thread and needle, and I'm going to go inside and I'm going to poke it out the other end. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go across okay, and out. Okay, and then this is going to cinch those two in. Can you see what's happening? Just go back and forth a couple more times and pull it tight. And then I'll do a little knot, cut it off, and then I'll show you what I figured out to do for leaves. Just a little knot. This thread disappears into this canvas duck pretty easy. Okay. So see what I've got there? Here is our tulip. The stem is a dowel and it's wrapped and glued. Okay, and I'm gonna make some leaves that are long and pointy like this. I know someone will ask me what that size is, so let me just measure. It's about 7 inches long and about 1.5 inches at the widest point. I'm using this as my pattern. And we will cut to let me grab a pen. What do you guys think so far? Are you overwhelmed by any of the steps here? I hope not, because this is not difficult at all. So I have my leaf that has the writing on both sides. And what I opted to do was just to glue the front to the back. That's the first step. You could stuff these leaves if you wanted. I didn't end up doing that. Okay, and it's got enough glue in there that it has some stand up to it. But I decided to put a little strip of glue down the center and to pinch that just in the center to give it some shape. Can you see what I did? Okay, and then I'm just going to glue it. It doesn't even matter where, really. All right, and then you can embellish the top however you want. Like you could use some pieces of canvas, maybe a little bit of this sheer ribbon. We'll try both of those. On one of these I took some of the strings from when we do burlap flowers and I used those. I'm not going to make this a super long piece. We won't do a bow, we'll just do a little tie. Okay, I think that's okay. And there is, I'll glue that and trim that up, but there's our tulip. Here are the other ones that I have made. Let me show them to you one at a time. I'll tell you about each one of them. This one is not finished. It's going to have some white leaves on it, but this color right here is glittering copper, which is a very pretty color. This one right here also is not finished, but it will have some white leaves and something around the top. This is glittering gold. And you can see that the tops of them look kind of messy, but they have those little points like what the top of the tulip does. This one right here has a white leaf, but it doesn't have anything right here just yet. This is rose gold. And this one that I really, really, really love, this one has a leaf, like the one we just made, and this is glittering silver. And it has some lace and some of that sheer ribbon. And then here's the black one that we just did. And then here are the two that I made with the thicker canvas, which I love the look of this. I stenciled this fabric with the same design, but it was harder because this canvas is so thick. It was harder to turn it right side out after I cinched up the bottom of it. There's one. And this one was my very first attempt and it was too small. I don't even know what the measurements are of that, but after I did this one, then I determined that it needs to be bigger. And these pieces, in case you missed the beginning, that we glued together, and then we cinched up the bottom around a dowel, flipped them right side out. These pieces are 4 inches up and down and 8 inches long or wide, 4 by 8. And that's pretty much it. So, they look like parrot tulips. Yes, Helga, that's what I was trying to think of the name of that. I think they're kind of pretty. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. But you could whip out, once you get the gist of it, and you get your material stenciled, you can whip these out very quickly. And they're practically free to make. You just need a little canvas, a little bit of ink, the use of a stencil, some of these little wood dowels, and whatever lace or whatnot you want around them, and you're good to go. So do a this or a this. If you liked this project, let me know in the comments. If you would like to see the video that I recorded several years ago making this same style of tulip with some hot pink and white polka dot fabric. They look very similar, but this is more my color and more my style. And I could see either poking some of these in a little pot or putting them in a glass vase and just setting them out. And I like the idea of having all different ones. So, let me know what you think. Suzanne says yes, she would like to see that video. Anyone else want to see that video where I made this style of a tulip several years ago in hot pink? Just let me know. Brenda, I'll get that for you. Suzanne, I'll get that for you. Cindy, I'll get that for you. Suzanne says she loves neutral decor also. Anyways, have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you guys later. If you want to come back here to this post, this live video, I'll try to get some pictures this evening of this styled and pretty and all of them fluffed up, and I'll put those here in the comments. I will also put those at the just on my DIY Dreaming page in a separate